Hello everybody, good afternoon and welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge. This is your latest Manchester United news. I hope we're all doing well. So Amrabat in, McTominay out, PSG shake it all about. No, they're shaking their wallet about. They've offered a lot of money to Rasmus Hjlund. We don't need to worry about it, but Di Marzio is saying that they've offered bigger wages in an attempt to take Rasmus Hjlund from the clutches of Manchester United to Paris. So lots going on, lots to get in on the show. Amrabat's looking very interesting. The McTominay story is puzzling but potentially positive, and a few other bits as well. Hope you're all doing really well. Look, we're sponsored by OneFootball. They're sponsoring us over this tour as well. Let me tell you what OneFootball is all about.
Football fanatics, get ready. The United Stand pre-season tour is here, powered by OneFootball, the ultimate app for live scores, transfers and match stats. Download now. No one gets you closer.
Yeah, big shout out to OneFootball. Links in the description. Scan the QR code next to me. Get all your latest breaking football news, transfer news, stats in one place for free on Apple and Android. How are we all doing then? Lots to get into. Amrabat hasn't gone on tour with Fiorentina, so he's awaiting a Manchester United move. Scott McTominay, Scooby-Doo, David Moyes. And I'm Italian, I'm David Moyes. David Moyes desperately trying to get Scott McTominay and do a deal with United, but United apparently slapping a 40 million price on. They're doing it the same with Maguire. What are United playing at with these prices? We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about the latest with Rasmus Hjlund. Legends who joined me late last night in the early hours. We were watching Wrexham against Manchester United under 23s. I think we deserve a badge of honour. They think nurses have it hard. That was a hard thing to do. Respect to everybody who does this all around the world for 9 months. I said this last night, I said it this morning, but you don't get up at 3:30 in the morning to watch the under-23s play Wrexham. You know, even Ollie Ball and Blue Van Gaal Ball, it's still the first team with a crowd playing in the Premier League. Yeah, it was hard work, but we had a good time in the chat. Tonight will be a lot better. 1:30 a.m. kickoff UK time. We're playing Real Madrid, so looking forward to that in Houston. We'll be live for that. I've had a bit of kip. I sort of had a half time. I had 4 hours sleep, got up for the match, went back to bed, had 4 hours sleep, but it's never the same. It's never the same. Anyway, if you missed it, don't worry. It was a hard one, but we had some really good chats. It was all kicking off about Adam wearing an away kit he'd been gifted and all this. It was all going on. It was a proper good stream. Cheers from Australia for the early coverage. Respect all, says Sean. Yep, it was great to interact with people who don't normally catch the lives as well. Maguire planning to pull a Phil Jones. Love the show. As always, greetings from South Africa, says Emil. Great. All right, let's get into what's going on here. Got a cracking video coming up on Amrabat this afternoon. Probably going to put it up at 4 o'clock. Did one on Hjlund the other day. You'll love it. Really deep dive into stats and stuff like that. Get ready for that. A lot of people saying Amrabat's not good enough. There's good and there's bad. And I think I'm quite excited about it. But is it going to happen? So Alfredo Padula late last night said that terms have been agreed with Hjlund and with Amrabat. Well, we know the terms have been agreed with Hjlund. So the story for me was Amrabat. He's not gone on tour with Fiorentina. He's back training in Florence. He's definitely going to leave Fiorentina. They're resigned to the fact that he's not engaged with them for the next season, and they want to cash in. So he's going to go. Just be a little bit careful. I mean, look, everything suggests from Italian reports that Amrabat is going to come to Manchester United, and he's chosen Manchester United. So I'm not going to put him in the 90% club, but it's looking good. How long it's going to take, we just need to be a bit careful here. One, you've always got to be wary of someone else swooping in. We've not heard that anybody else is interested, but things can change quickly, so we've got to be a little bit wary of that. But I'd say United are very strong favourites to sign Amrabat now. The second thing I would say is that we haven't signed him, and it's not deal done. Remember the stages of transfers. I think there's 5 or 6 stages really, but let's break it down into 3 very simple ones. Terms agreed with the player, deal done, / here we go. Official announcement. We are at stage 1. We've agreed terms with the player. He wants to come to us. We've now got to agree a deal with Fiorentina. That could take 1 day. It could take 3 weeks. At the end of the day, he's not on tour. He's not training with his team. That's not good for his fitness. We need him training with us. He'd be better off on tour with Fiorentina if we're going to sign him in 2 weeks. So that would suggest we're going to get this deal done very, very quickly. And it would suggest that we're not waiting to sell players like I thought we were. So, in effect, we could see Amrabat happen really, really quickly. Everything suggests it's going to happen quickly, but is it going to happen before Rasmus Hjlund? The positives are good. The source of the information is very, very good and very strong. The fact that he's not gone with the rest of the team on tour is a real positive, and it would suggest that it's going to happen quickly, probably for about £25 million. So, I can only see this as a bonus. Jordan Hall, welcome to the Members Club, and Rajif as well. And the reason I see it as a positive is quite simply, I look at that midfield and I go, we never had any cover for Casemiro last year, and Amrabat gives us a little bit more bite. We've bought Mason Mount in, and I look at that midfield and I go, Casemiro, Amrabat, Mainu, Eriksen, Mount, Bruno. Thank you very much. Sell Scott, McTominay and Fred. Happy. I'm happy with that. Fred have been an issue for me for a number of years, and the best tackle they've ever made is blocking me on Twitter. Both of them have done it, and I wish they put that much effort into their tackles than they did in blocking me. But on a serious note, I like Fred. He's a likeable guy, and I wish him all the best. And I think McTominay needs to go and find his level. But if we get Amrabat in, I don't really care if McTominay and Fred stay. You're not playing. You're just not going to play. Mainu looks better than you both already. Amrabat's better than you. Casemiro's better than you. Mount's better than you. Eriksen's better than you. Bruno's better than you. That's 6 midfield options better than them. What scared me last season is one injury to Eriksen or Casemiro, and it's Scooby-Doo and Fred coming back in. So, to me, Fred will be sold. Obviously, he's not even on the tour. And McTominay, you've got to sell him as well. Just move him on, because the issue with McTominay, if we move on to this for a moment, is Sky is saying again that there's an offer there from West Ham, but Man United want 40 million. And my issue with this is, Abdullah says, hi Mark, can you please wish my wife a speedy recovery from ankle sprain? Yeah, okay. Good recovery from an ankle sprain. Twisted ankle. Can be very painful. Hi Mark, am I paranoid for feeling Hjlund is the next Bentner, says JB. Oh, come on. You're being foolish. But with the McTominay thing, if West Ham are interested and they want him for 40 million, they want him for 30 million quid, find a middle ground. I don't mind us saying 40 million, but we're going to come down to 32. But don't say we're going to reject 35 or 30 because you want 40. As I said before, I like a broken record. McTominay hasn't had a good game in nearly a year. He's not an established first team player. He's worth about 30 million quid. And if we don't take the money for him now, you will never get that money again. And that's why United need to be negotiating a deal. Because if you've got Casemiro, you've got Amrabat, you've got Mainu, you've got Eriksen, you've got Mount and you've got Bruno, where the hell is Scott McTominay getting game time? And if he is getting game time, he's taking it away from better players and better prospects. So if West Ham are going to offer you £30 million now, you cannot sit there and go, no, we don't need to do the deal. You do need to do the deal, because in a year's time, he's not going to be worth 50. He's going to be worth 20. So just do the deal. Do the deal, move him on, let him go and play some football elsewhere. Hopefully Maguire goes with him. They're good mates anyway. Maguire and McTominay to West Ham strengthens West Ham. They get to play together. Everybody's a winner. And I think United need to be pushing those deals. And I do wonder, actually, if United are pushing the deals and they're just saying they want more than they want, so that there's a bit of negotiation ground. Because one thing United seem to like to do this summer, and it is the same as late Lingard, Raymond, one thing United seem to like to do this summer is negotiate. So maybe we're just trying to do that. Hasher says, Mark, the 1958's post today was disgraceful. Big up to Adam and the United Stand. Thank you for providing us regular quality content. Well, I spoke about this more in depth on the watch along. Basically, the 1958, whoever they are, obviously they're anonymous, so we don't know who they are, but they have done some great stuff around the protests for Manchester United. Adam did a preview in the new away kit yesterday that he was gifted by, I think it was by Adidas or something like that. They basically called the United Stand and Adam Glazer sympathists and on the Glazer gravy train. Well, it's a complete load of bollocks. It's not true. It was a gift. Personally, I wouldn't have worn it. I've said that to Adam. I wouldn't have worn it, but it's all about opinion, and you chose to wear it, and that's up to you. I wouldn't have worn it because I don't wear shirts, and I don't really want to promote kits, but people wear kits. My nephew's just been bought a kit, loves Marcus Rashford. Many of you will have bought a kit. Many of you will go to games. But ultimately, the real message is here, and this is where I hate to say we will take the moral high ground, is that everybody's welcome in this community. The door is open to have discussions with any United fan group to, better this football club. And yet you've got other organisations who are trying to divide it, saying we want these people out of our fan base, these people out of our fan base. Who the fuck are you to tell people who should be in this fan base and not? History is littered with those sort of organisations who decide they're better than different people. We don't live in that world anymore. We live in a world of diversity, inclusivity, and we should be united. Open the bloody door and have a conversation and stop arguing with the wrong people. Because Adam goes home and away and has been going home and away for years. So he would surely fit in the top red club. So I don't, and he's from Manchester. So why are you taking a pop at somebody who goes home and away and has done it for years because he's wearing a top that he was gifted? And even if he bought it, I mean, it's just not the argument to have. I think it's a disgrace how the sale talk has completely disappeared. There is no talk about sales now. It's talk about Mainu, it's talk about Hannibal, it's talk about Ahmad, it's talk about Mount, it's talk about Anana, it's talk about Rasmus Hjlund, it's talk about Amrabat. We talk about the sale nearly every bloody show. So don't talk about Glazer sympathisers. I don't know a Glazer sympathiser. I don't know a Glazer sympathiser. It's really offensive and it's really unfair. So Hasha, I hope that gives you our answer, because we should all be working together. And as I said last night, we'll never defeat the enemy because we're too busy defeating ourselves in this fan base. We can't unite because we all have to fall out with each other because it's all about who's the biggest fan. I mean, we don't speak for anybody on this channel. We're not the voice of the fan. We're just a community that, comes together a couple of times a day and talks about the club that we love. Don't want to be that. Don't want to be a voice. Not interested. But we are a big community and we are open to discussing things with people. Jordan says, I hope Mullin okay. Sad to see it happened by Bishop, such a quality young keeper. He must have been devastated. Always knew he loved Mansfield though after his loan deal, says Jordan. And hi Mark, sending love and support from South Africa. I just want to say thanks for always being authentic in a time when most of the media is scared to speak their mind. Thank you very much, Jan. And as I say, the door's open and people do some great work. I wish people would just work together and stop believing nonsense. And there's a lot of bitter people out there that spread lies, and then the idiots believe it, and then they generate their own lies and hate. And it's just ultimately not true. We should all be working together to get the Glazers out of this football club. I do this, I do that, they do this, they do that. It's so irrelevant. Just work together. If you really want the Glazers out, you've got to go down a path that's going to be difficult. And doing, something that's difficult means you've got to do difficult things to get there. I.e., open the door and start working together. It's just, I don't get it. Instead of arguing about that, what are they doing? Anyway, back on track. Spoke about Amrabat, spoke about Scott McTominay. What deal's going to happen first? Dean Henderson is apparently going to go on loan to Nottingham Forest. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But we felt that we might get a Rasmus Hjlund, here we go, today, or tomorrow, or Friday. And it has gone very quiet on that. Demartio has said that PSG have offered more wages to Hojlund. Now let's go back to the weekend. Rich, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. Let's go back to the weekend. Man United are going to put an official bid in this week to head off a hijack from PSG who are talking to Rasmus Hjlund. So United have agreed personal terms with Rasmus Hjlund for a long time. The story is that United are going to put an official bid in with Atalanta because PSG can't do that until they've persuaded Hjlund to come. PSG are basically trying to get to a point where Rasmus Hjlund says, I'll go to you or I'll go to United, depending on who Atalanta say. United are trying to get Atalanta to agree a deal, while Hjlund exclusively wants to come to United. Demartio is reporting that PSG, in their negotiations with Rasmus Hjlund, have offered him more wages. So PSG are trying to get to a point where Rasmus Hjlund says, look, I will go to PSG, I will go to Man United. Whoever puts the better deal in, I'll go there. And some players do that. Demartio is saying at the moment that Hjlund is saying, regardless of the wages, I want to go to Man United. So are United now slowing down the process with Atalanta because they know they've got Hjlund on lockdown and they want to negotiate with Atalanta? I think we'll find out in the next 48 hours, because it was always said that this would be the week to get the bid done with Atalanta if United were going to speed things up. If United don't speed things up by Friday, that means that they are going to try and negotiate with Atalanta, safe in the knowledge that PSG aren't going to be able to hijack. I'm still very relaxed. He does want to come to United, and United do need to just get moving a little bit quicker, because there is a club there that wants him, and really, while they're negotiating with Hjlund, we should lock the deal down with Atalanta. And I think we will do. I'm still hopeful that that deal will happen by Friday. But look, it's intriguing, isn't it, that PSG do the thing that they have to do, which is offer Hjlund more money. And Hjlund says, no, I still want to go to United. Now, remember, I think United are meant to be offering Hjlund £75,000 a week. So it's not hard for PSG to say 100 grand a week. But at the moment, I'm very, very confident about the deal. One thing I just can't say is when we will get that. Here we go. I'd like to think by Friday, but let's wait and see. Ross Smith says, hi, Mark. I would be very pessimistic after seeing summer dealings / targets. Keep up the good work from Ireland. Interesting. Interesting. Thank you very much. So, yeah, look, it looks good. Looking good with Rasmus Hjlund, but we do have to acknowledge the news. And the news is that, obviously, PSG are still sniffing around there. But I think as well also, just before we move on, I think also with Rasmus Hjlund, we're at that point now where, you know, there's not a lot more Damartio, Padula, Romano can report, because we know where we're at. The big report at the weekend was that United were going to put their official bid in this week. And therefore, and personal terms are already done, so there's not really any updates. If you asked Fabrizio, he would say, he'd probably quote tweet what he said at the weekend and say, United official bid is going to go in and we wait now to see what happens. So, yeah, I think that with that, we're just waiting for some developments on the bid, aren't we, and seeing where we are. And what I will say is, though, and I must say this because I don't say this on video enough, I end up tweeting it too much. I'm sure many of you feel like this, I'm still massively baffled why certain UK outlets still keep talking about £80 million, £85 million, £75 million. That's nearly €100 million. And yet Italian reports, and what I've been told for weeks, because, well, you know I have, because I've been telling you, €60 million. So, you know, there's almost, in some cases, there's a £30 million gap between what the UK press is talking about Hjlund and what the Italian press is sorting about. So, look, unless there's a real sting in the tail here, I'm absolutely convinced that this deal gets done for around €60 million, £40 to £50 million with add-ons. Let's wait and see. Mark, if we're going to sell McTominay, Fred and Van der Beek, any idea who will be bringing in other than Amrabat, says Hasher. Well, you don't need to bring anybody else in, mate. I mean, this is probably why United might keep McTominay, but if I was McTominay, I'd be terrified. If you get rid of Fred and you get rid of Donny van der Beek and you get rid of McTominay, you don't need to get another midfielder when you've got Casemiro, Mainu, Amrabat, Eriksson, Mount and Bruno. You've got 6. You don't need to bring another midfielder in. 6 midfielders for 3 positions is absolutely fine. Because even if you pick up a couple of injuries, you've still got 4 left. And remember, there are players that can do different jobs. Like the Bruno role can be done by Sancho or Ahmad or someone like that at a push. We do have other options. But that might be a reason that he keeps McTominay, which I think's a mistake. I don't think Alanga's been officially announced yet in relation to the fee. An official announcement by by Forest. I know yesterday he did his goodbye tweet, etc. But sticking with Forest, there was something in the Telegraph today saying that Dean Henderson is expected to join Nottingham Forest on a loan to buy. I don't know why. He has been announced. Okay, he has been announced, Alanga. I probably got missed and all that. I'm not going to read that out. I think that I'm a little bit baffled by this. You know, Dean Henderson went on loan last year to Forest. Why would we loan him again? I don't get it. And also, excuse me, got a bit of a frog in my throat. Obligation to buy, says Marsha. Yeah, that has to be there. But An obligation to buy is fine because that might be to help Nottingham Forest with financial fair play, I suppose. But what if Forest get relegated? Like, I worry about obligation to buy because really, Dean Henderson should be going. We need another striker, says Jason. We do. Dean Henderson should be going to a football club for 25 million quid. We shouldn't need to loan a player like that. He's a reasonable Premier League goalkeeper that's worth 25 million quid. I don't know why we would do another. I don't know why we do another loan, and I don't know why nobody wants to buy him now. Is there concerns over his injury? I don't know. But the trouble with obligation to buy is that it won't be as strict as you think it is. There was an obligation for Marseille to buy Eric Bailly, but they didn't. And I think it was to do with qualifying for the Champions League or the amount of games he plays. So what if Forest do a loan to buy deal with Dean Henderson, but if they get relegated, they don't have to buy him? I mean, I'd just be more comfortable if we sold him. And the obvious reason for that is that if you do a loan to buy, and we're living in a world where we need to sell to buy, well, there's £25 million I think we all thought we were going to get this summer that we're not getting for Dean Henderson. So I don't know why. Look, if that's the best deal we can do, fine, we're going to have to do it. But it surprises me that we can't get £25 million for Dean Henderson this summer. I mean, what is it any club needs to know? He's been on loan to Sheffield United a few years ago. He's been on loan at Nottingham Forest last season. You know what you're getting with him. He's not an unknown quantity. So why wouldn't anybody just buy him? I don't get why we can't sell him. And I don't know why we'd be open to loaning him. But I think ultimately, maybe the great Dean Henderson doesn't have the options he thinks he does. I mean, this is a guy who said, I don't want to train in front of Ten Hag because he'll make me stay. Well, you know, there doesn't seem to be a big queue of clubs that want him. And maybe the best offer on the table is a loan to buy, unfortunately. But of course, it impacts our transfer window a little bit because it's not money coming in this summer. Okay, we've done that one from JB. Maybe teams don't rate him, says Robbo. DJ says I'm getting a bit bored with it all. Yeah, well, look, I think things will escalate over the coming days and weeks, but we still haven't really sold anybody. Alanga's gone, but Fred needs to go. Donny has been linked to Ajax. I think that's a good one. Henderson, as we've mentioned, if that's a loan, that's not money coming in. I think McTominay's money that could come in. Brandon Williams needs to go. There are so many players that we need to sort of start moving out to help us bring players in. But look, Maguire's another one as well. Maguire leads to a centre-back potentially in August. So there's still a lot of deals to be done. But look, what I would say is, as we circle back to the start of the video, Amrabat is clearly very, very close. Hjlund is clearly very, very, very close. You got 4 players in by the end of July. I'd still liked them to have been a bit earlier, but they are 4 players that really help us out. And then August, you've got to be looking to move some of these players out and maybe bring another 1 or 2 in late August. So it's not, look, the quality of the player is probably not what Ten Hag wanted. I think he wanted a higher quality, which he would have got with a Qatar sale. But, you know, it is looking like we're going to get some of these players done quickly. And I really am hopeful that we'll get at least one of them by the end of the week, because Amrabat's not gone on tour. Hojlund, it's about the official bid. Yeah, things are looking positive. Anyway, make sure you smash a like and subscribe. Don't forget to download OneFootball. It was only going to be a quick lunchtime update because I missed the morning show. Very good show with Beth. I watched it when I woke up. I've got a video coming up for you a little bit later about Amrabat, which I'm going to record in a minute, and we'll put it up for about 4 o'clock. I think you'll really enjoy that. Short 5-10 minute tactical analysis of him. And then we've got the preview probably goes up then. I don't think I'll do an 8 o'clock show again tonight because we're going to be live at 1 o'clock in the morning for the Real Madrid game. You've got to stay up for that one. I understand why people didn't get up for the Wrexham game, but Real Madrid against Manchester United in Houston, kicking off at 1:30 in the morning. We'll be live from 1 o'clock with me. Make sure you join me. It was a great show last night. I think it will be even better tonight. Take care, everyone. I'll speak to you all in a bit. Don't miss the Amrabat video. It's coming very, very soon.